We have lost that sense of community in the Black community, and I think that's a huge underlying factor in what we're seeing today. Hey y'all, it's your girl Tanisha Renee here. Today we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it because I have to get to the airport soon. I'm going home. So we're gonna make this quick. This is just gonna be a very informal discussion / chit chat. And before we jump into this conversation today, okay, I just want to kind of make a disclaimer that I am not trying to attack Black women. I am a Black woman. I love Black women. I think that we're beautiful. This is just me stating my opinion, okay? So I hope that no one feels the need to cancel me or they feel like I'm trying to attack them, because I'm not. We all have different perspectives, and today I'm gonna share mine with you. So you guys may have seen this floating around the internet. I know a lot of people have been talking about it, but basically there is a Black woman. She is an esthetician. She owns a Brazilian wax spa. She is currently under fire because she put a sign on her facility saying that no bonnets and no pajamas are allowed. Okay, no bonnets and no pajamas. Because she got a lot of backlash, she decided to take the sign down from her facility, but she says she stands on what she said. Her rules are that if you want to be serviced by her, you need to come in with something other than a bonnet on your head and pajamas. So as we can see, the whole bonnet debate is returning, right? Monique went under fire when she said this. A lot of people agreed with her, but a lot of people were upset in their feelings. Women felt like they should be able to wear whatever they want. People are always criticizing Black women, etc., etc., etc. So my opinion is that bonnets, pajamas, anything that you wear inside the house to go to bed, that should remain in the house, okay? So I shared my perspective on Facebook, and my post went semi-viral, which I wasn't expecting, but there were a lot of people who had a lot of things to say. I said, unpopular-ish opinion that I refuse to budge on. Bonnets and pajamas should not be worn in public. Why are we trying to normalize this? Take it up with Jesus. So this post got like 146 shares. People called me all types of bitches. People told me I need to mind my business. They were just saying a lot of different things. And you know what? I agree with the part about minding your business. I think that everybody can mind their business, but the reality of it is that we're on social media. Every day people make posts that are not minding their business. People are sharing their opinions. You go on things like The Shade Room. You follow Justin LaBoy. Things like that that people eat up and find entertaining. None of it is ever someone minding their business. So I think that this is a matter of selective outrage, and it's a matter of hit dogs hollering. It is what it is. Now, there were some people who said, I don't care, I'll wear pajamas, I'll go pick up my kids from school with a nightgown and a bonnet on, so on and so forth. So people did defend the pajamas part, but most people had an issue with the fact that I said bonnets should not be worn outside. And aside from the notion that people say they don't care what anybody thinks, people need to mind their business, there were some things that I wanted to point out and kind of clarify because they do matter to me, again, as a Black woman. One of the things that was said is that my comment was rooted in anti-Blackness, and then another comment said that this was rooted in respectability politics. First and foremost, I want to say that I refuse to normalize mediocrity as Blackness. Blackness to me is not going outside and having your pants sagging down your butt. It's not you having on a bonnet and wearing pajamas like you just rolled out of bed. It's not you having slippers on your feet. It is you going outside. You are greatness. You play the part. You look the role of greatness. So Blackness to me would be if I went outside and I had an afro in my hair, if I had twists in my hair, if I had some braids in my hair, if I had a nice head wrap on my hair. Those are all things that I think can be Blackness, and that is beautiful and we should embrace it. But I do refuse to believe that we should embrace this type of tackiness as Blackness. Now, I can understand where people would say that Black women are constantly under fire. They're underneath a microscope and constantly being judged. I agree with that. I do think that there are a lot of things that we are judged on. A lot of people do take our culture, they twist it, make it mainstream, and then they benefit off of it. But I feel like in this situation, this is not the case. I can guarantee you that you're never going to see a time where bonnets are going to be a mainstream fashion trend. And even if that were to happen, if hell froze over, I still would never participate in that because it looks like craziness. And for me, it's not even a race thing. I think that if any person, okay, if it was a white person, a Hispanic person, because let's be clear, I have seen Hispanic people outside with bonnets and pajamas on. So it's not just about black women. People who you might consider a preference, I've seen them do it before too. For me, it's all about understanding the importance of your appearance.
I thought that this would be a good point in the video to talk a little bit more about respectability politics or respectability narratives. They are actually different things, but when people are talking about respectability politics in this context, they're actually referring to respectability narratives. So in summary, respectability narratives are when we attempt to create a connection between the dominant group, which in this case would be white people, and marginalized ones, which in this case would be black women specifically. People are saying that when we tell women that they should be dressed in clothing and not wearing bonnets outside, that we are basically trying to be seen as our white counterparts. For example, when you go into work, a lot of people feel like they have to change the tone of their voice so that they can be accepted because they don't want to sound too hood or too urban, just with the tone of their voice. That to me would be an example of respectability narratives. If I were to say about bonnets, ladies, you should not wear a bonnet next to your man. That is just something that's unattractive. Do something else with your hair, but don't wear a bonnet on it. Then I would totally understand where you guys are coming from. Because it's like, wait a minute, sis. You're telling me that for me to be desirable for my man in bed where I'm supposed to wear a bonnet, I have to change this and risk my hair not being protected. But in this case of you going outside with it still on your head, then to me, it signals that you just might not care that much about your appearance. Because if you did, you would not be stepping outside looking like that. All we're saying is that appearance is always going to be important. It's just that your appearance, the way that it needs to be presented, is going to shift based on the setting that you're in.
The reality of the society that we live in is that people are going to judge you based on how you look. Your appearance is the first thing that people see. I believe in being presentable. That's not to say that you have to wear makeup and wear heels all the time. No, you can throw on some sweatpants, you can pull your hair back in a ponytail, wear a hat if you're having a bad hair day. But I was always taught that when you go somewhere, you want to put your best foot forward. There's been times when I'm out just at a mechanic, for example, and I'll meet people who follow me on YouTube. If I was out here looking crazy, I would be embarrassed that they saw me in that way. But aside from that, even if you're not a content creator or you're not trying to have that type of public image, you never know what opportunities you could be passing by because you're out here looking like you just rolled out of bed. Now, there also were some people who really didn't understand why that was seen as a bad thing. So some people genuinely ask the question, why is this not acceptable? And to me, that kind of signals that a lot of people who think that this is okay, they might not have had people in their lives growing up who taught them the importance of appearance. I am starting to realize that it is an older thing. Like one person commented and told me that I have an old mindset. Well, my mother is older. My mom was 40 when she had me. And growing up, even if we were walking to the store, she would put a cute sweater on. She would put some lipstick on. Not saying again that you have to put makeup on, but even if we were walking to the store 5 or 10 minutes away, she would still make sure she looked decent. So that's something that was normalized to me. So I'm not sure if this is a generational shift, but I am noticing that people who might not have had older influences, whether that be a parent, a grandparent, who was on them teaching those things, it seems like it's a product of their environment type of situation. To me, I don't think that is really an excuse. If I'm going to, again, the gas station 5 minutes away, I'm gonna make sure I look presentable. If I'm going to grab food, I'm gonna make sure I look presentable. The same way that I would make sure I look decent to go and shake my butt in a club, I'm gonna make sure that I look decent whenever I'm in any other setting. Another comment that I thought was interesting is a person who said that you could tell I grew up in a suburban area and I'd have nothing but white friends, okay? I don't know if you guys can tell by my demeanor or not, but I grew up in the hood, okay? I'm from New York. I grew up in a low-income neighborhood. I didn't go to the best high school. All of my friends, or I'm gonna say 99% of my friends, are black. But even still in that setting with growing up with nothing but black people, we still had people in our community to enforce standards of how you should appear in public. For example, we would have soul food restaurants on every other corner in the hood, right? So there would be older black women running the restaurants, and they would put signs on their doors saying that men were not allowed to come in there with their pants sagging. That was an expectation that everyone had coming into the establishment, and the women who ran those establishments subconsciously instilled a sense of pride in those men, where it's like, yo, if you want to come into certain spaces, you need to look the part. That was coming from a black woman. In my high school, men had to take do-rags off in order to come into school. Again, that was just something that was a standard. You're in a place to learn. This is a different type of setting, so you need to adjust the way you look to fit where you are. This is just my humble opinion. I believe that when a lot of our people hear someone trying to tell them something to enforce a certain kind of standard, it is seen as offensive, or it's seen as us attacking them, because we're not used to the it takes a village, community, family, raising children type of mentality. So if this was 50, 60, 70 years ago, I don't think that this would even be a conversation, because if your neighbor saw that your child was out in the neighborhood acting a fool, looking a mess, doing something that would poorly reflect on themselves and their family, they would correct that. And we have lost that sense of community in the black community, and I think that's a huge underlying factor in what we're seeing today. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I know that this was a quick video, but I just wanted to talk to y'all before I go ahead and head to the airport. I'm sure that a lot of y'all will disagree with me on this topic. I just ask that you keep it respectful. Again, I'm coming from a respectful place. And on that note, stay safe, stay blessed, and until next time, y'all, bye.